Hey everybody, welcome to another Guns of Icarus video. After playing the game for some time and getting more familiar with the in-game mechanics, I wanted to give you some advice when it comes to picking your very first character class. In my opinion, the best beginner class is the Engineer. It is a very versatile class and very easy to pick up. Of course, with each class you're not limited to doing just the engineering job or just the gunnery job. If you see a spare gun, you can always step in and use it, or if you see the helm is not being manned, you can also go ahead and pilot the ship. Of course, usually the captain reserves the right to be the pilot. Sometimes things don't work out, or maybe there's a very special crew being formed. In any case, doesn't matter exactly which class you pick, you still get to do every single job on the ship if you so choose. But with Engineer you get to be exposed to many different parts of the ship and many different attributes of the battle itself. Most importantly, you get to be the backbone, the one who repairs all the broken equipment. Usually, with any ship loadout, you will have at least 2 engineers, 1 gunner and 1 pilot. Of course, every battle is different and every crew is different, but usually you have somebody to back you up in case you're not doing the best job because this is your first time playing the game. In any case, go ahead with the Engineer if you decide to play this game. But let's take a look at the character loadout. Every character, doesn't matter whether it's a gunner, the engineer or the pilot. Oh, my game is lagging a little bit. But every character has special presets. And you get to have piloting equipment, engineering equipment and gunnery equipment. The only difference between different classes is how many slots of equipment you have. So the gunner will have obviously more gunnery slots. Also with the presets, this is how you can change your current character loadout, the kind of equipment you get to carry with you. Everything is modifiable, so for example if I want to change the rubber mallet to something else like a pipe wrench, I can do that. Of course, when you first start out the game, when you're playing for the very first time, my advice is to just stick with the presets. And the ones that you want to go for are basically either preset number 2 or preset number 3. The main difference between these ones is that for preset number 3 you have the Dynabuff Industries kit. So what this little tool does is that it buffs the equipment on your ship. You can see all of the statistics right there on the screen. You also get the wrench, which of course you will use to repair different equipment, but that's quite standard. With the preset number 2, you don't get to have the buffing tool. You have the spanner, which is a wrench that has a very high rebuild power, so once your equipment is completely destroyed, you get to rebuild it. And you also have the rubber mallet, which has not the best rebuild power, but very high HP repair. So you get to basically pick and choose whatever it is you want or whatever playstyle you would like to play as. Of course, having 2 engineers on a team, it depends on your captain. Maybe one of the engineers will be asked to have the buff kit, and the other engineer will have the mallet because it's very useful for quickly repairing the equipment. You also get to have the special gunnery equipment, such as the special rounds. So with the engineer loadout number 2, you have the incendiary rounds, and with number 3, it is the burst rounds. Really, I don't want to get too much in depth with this type of equipment because it's more for the gunnery class, but you can read up on it and see whatever it is you want to pick. And as you start getting better in the game, getting more familiar with the in-game mechanics, go ahead and start modifying everything that you want because these are your presets and you can modify them the way you see fit. The rest, of course, is very customizable. It depends on whether you want to pick the female body, the male body, or the kind of costume you want to have. By default, I believe there's only 1 costume, but the more levels you advance through, you get more costumes and you can always buy more in the store if you so choose. So that is the basic engineer loadout. Very simple. Once again, I suggest you use this class when you first start playing the game. So now I'm going to show you just how different equipment works within the game. Being part of the crew, make sure not to underutilize your spyglass to spot the enemy ships. This greatly helps out your pilot and the captain. Of course, the majority of your time on the ship will be spent repairing and rebuilding the equipment. But don't let an opportunity pass you by. If you see an empty gun and an enemy ship approaching, make sure you start shooting. Unless your ship is in very bad shape and many of the equipment on it demands your attention, it is completely okay to step behind the gun as long as the gunner does not require it right away. And many times your captain will ask you to man a certain gun, depending on the maneuver that the ship is making. When you see the destroyed equipment, make sure you do not use the mallet to try to rebuild it. The mallet has a very low rebuild power. What you want to use is your spanner. Of course, if you're using the preset number 3, the only thing you have available to you is a wrench. In that case, you have simply no other option. If you use the preset with the Dyna buff kit, the majority of your time on the ship will be spent buffing the particular equipment, like the hull or the guns. The buff on the guns will be depleting quite fast, so it's a good idea to start buffing it again. You can also buff the gun that you're about to use yourself, and of course once again taking the opportunity to shoot at your enemy target. It is also good practice when buffing the equipment to stop just short of topping up the level. That way, all it takes is one more swing to actually activate the buff, and that's very useful when you're in a hectic situation running around from equipment to equipment trying to repair it or buff it. And when repairing particular equipment, you can buff it at the same time during the repair cooldown. Whatever engineer preset you choose is up to you, but it's best to coordinate with the other engineer on your team or at least speak to your captain about what they would prefer to be used. Whatever you choose, make sure you have some sort of an extinguisher and rebuilding and repairing equipment. If you want to go for the Dyna buff kit, then I guess you're stuck with the wrench, just like in preset number 3. The wrench can be used for both rebuilding and repairing. It is not the best for each, but it is kind of a jack of all trades and stands right in the middle between the mallet and the spanner. If you have any questions about the engineer class or the Guns of Icarus game, please feel free to comment on this video. I look forward to bringing you more Guns of Icarus content in the near future. And please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this one. Thank you very much for watching.